I made $3,400 today. I was trading ES. I'm going to show you guys exactly how I did it and how you could have done it as well. So first things first, let's go ahead and look at my broker statement. You guys can see I made $3,400 and I was in that trade for 9 minutes and 30 seconds. And here are my executions on that trade. Now let's talk about the exact trade that I took. So today's trade was a break and retest. If you guys have been watching this channel, this is the most common setup that we take. I would say that I'm probably taking this setup on about probably 80% of my trades, probably 75%. The other remaining 25% would be when I take bounces off of a recent low, or when I will take a rejection off of a high, or me just trading a trend. So my main setup and my bread and butter and what makes me the majority of my money is this setup right here that I'm going to explain to you in full detail. So this was the break and retest setup. A few things happened this morning. So when we opened up this morning, the one thing that I saw that initially led me to think that we weren't going to get a good break and retest was us having this high right here, us having this Asia high right here. I was a little bit worried that we were going to reject off of this high. So what I had in my mind and what I told the Discord was that if we reject off of this Asia high, I'm no longer interested in the break and retest, because what that would show us is that sellers are a lot stronger than buyers, and there's a lot of people interested in selling at this level. Sorry, excuse me. So I wouldn't be interested in trading longs if the selling pressure was super strong. But it was not super strong. Luckily, we saw what I wanted to see happen, which was us completely disrespecting this Asia low, right? Like price acted as if it didn't even exist. When we see that, it is very bullish because it shows us that yes, there were some sellers here, but buyers completely took control. So once we saw that, I deleted this level because it was invalidated. And then I said, okay, now I actually do have confidence to look for a break and retest to the upside. So waited a little bit, got in right here, caught about 10 points, 1 to 4 risk reward. I had a super tight stop loss today. Reason being, we were chopping around a little bit in the morning, and I wanted to make sure that I just secured my profits. And if I were to take a loss, I didn't want it to be a big loss. And we actually had another break and retest play out a little bit later in the day. You guys can see we had this one play out, which you would have had to have a little bit wider of a stop loss, ideally right here, but you could have targeted way more points. So a lot of people took that first break and retest, but we also had a lot of people in the Discord who took this second break and retest, which was also just an incredible trade. Exact same thing happened. We broke above, retested it. That trade definitely gave you a little bit more points than my trade, but I followed my plan, stuck to my rules, I made money. So for me, there's absolutely nothing that I can complain about. And a lot of you guys, you get so wrapped up when you make a mistake. You get so, not even make a mistake, you get so wrapped up in could've, should've. I never use the word could've in trading unless I'm giving you guys an example, because there is no could. There's what we did and what we didn't do. And this morning, I woke up, I followed my plan, I made $3,400. It's not, oh, I could have made 18 grand if I traded this setup, because then I would have been taking on more risk than I wanted to risk, right? I was comfortable with this amount of risk, getting in the market, getting out. So I don't beat myself up over this at all. And what I know is that year over year, month over month, my strategy is going to make me a lot more than $18,000. So I am not chasing big trades. I am not forcing trades because I have confidence, and not only confidence, I know in the back of my mind that my strategy is going to make me money. So there's a lot of peace that comes with that, and there's a lot of forgiveness of yourself for missing trades or not getting in a certain trade, because you understand that in the long run you are going to make money. And if you don't understand that, you're probably struggling. And most people, they don't understand that because they're just not using a profitable strategy. They're just simply using either no strategy at all. They're just randomly clicking buy and sell or whatever, or they're using a strategy that is just not good. That just sucks, to say it quite honestly and say it quite frankly. Some of your guys' strategies are just bad. They're just bad. They're just not going to make money. But yeah, that was the trade I took today. I didn't take any trades on Monday. Didn't like price action, but I'm glad that I was able to get that trade in today. Felt really good. And real quick, I just want to show you guys some members of the Discord who were also able to get in on that trade. So you guys can see right here, Steele made some money on NQ. Mikhail made some money trading that break and retest that I traded. Benson Wood also made some money. He made $588. And yeah, we're cashing in. And Darren also made some money. Boom. So did Noodles. So did EZ. Took that break and retest. and yeah, guys, it was just a good day. And I also want to go over some other trades that we took today. So that was my trade. That was the trade that I sent out. We also had David. David had a great alert today. So David alerted NQ longs at about 11 a.m. You guys can see he gave you guys the price target and he gave you the stop loss. And at first went up 25 points, then went up 35 points, 50 points, 70 points, 90 points, 100 points, and he secured full profits. So we're always going to update you guys on what we're doing. David trades NQ, I trade ES. And as far as options today, we also had a good day on the option side of things. Let me go to the options alerts. So you guys can see that Money Motive alerted NVIDIA a few days back, or yesterday. NVIDIA went up quite a bit today, 80% gainer. And Palo Alto Network also went up a good bit. Called out ENPH today. ENPH went up 30%, ended up going up 33%, ended up 41%, 55, 62. And yeah, guys, it was a great day. Pretty much all around today. This ended up being 116% gainer. This ended up being 161% gainer. Great day today. And that's just what we do. And I really just want to highlight something for you guys. If you're on your journey right now and you feel lost, you feel like you're never going to see the light, I want to tell you a few things, just human to human, in full honesty. If you are trying to trade with 5 different strategies, so say you're using my strategy and you're using, TJR strategy or 5 other different mentors, and a lot of these guys are good. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with TJR strategy, but what there is something wrong with is trying to trade more than one strategy. When you are learning, your one focus is making money trading. That's your focus. Your focus should be to become profitable. If you want to become profitable, you have to stick with one asset class and one strategy. That's how I became profitable. First, I learned how to trade crypto. I learned how to swing trade crypto, and I had one strategy, and I made a shit ton of money. And then once I'd already made money, I moved on to trading futures, learned that, made a lot of money. None of that would have happened if I was trying to bounce around from strategy to strategy. Your brain already, right? Even just using one strategy, your brain already has a really hard time trading because it's not like anything that we've ever done. If you guys are anything like me, you don't come from money. You're used to working a job. When I was working as a busboy, I would get paid $13 an hour, right? And that was all I was paid for. I was paid for the amount of time that I spent in that restaurant. And I could have went to that restaurant, and I could have gone in the back and had a bunch of beers and just gotten drunk, and I still would have gotten paid the same amount, assuming they didn't fire me. Trading is not like that at all. With trading, you are paid not by how much time you spend, right? I spent an hour at the charts today, right? If that, I spent like 40 minutes. You're paid on the quality of your decisions. So if you're making really good decisions, you're going to make a lot of money. If you're making really bad decisions, you're going to lose a lot of money. This is a very unique career path. I might even go on record on saying trading is one of the most unique career paths in the world, because even with a business, it's not like that, right? Like when you run a business, I own businesses, you don't just wake up and one day you have the potential to just lose a shit ton of money. I mean, you kind of do, but with trading, it's more black and white. With business, like you could have issues here and there, but with trading, if you make a really bad decision, you will get shown that in minutes, right? You're losing a lot of money. So the reason I'm saying this is because if you guys think that you're grinding and you're learning 5 different strategies, you're not grinding. You're just confusing yourself. If you're actually grinding, you should have one strategy. You should be able to tell me exactly what your key levels are, exactly when you trade, exactly what you trade, exactly what your risk to reward is, exactly what your average win rate is, and a lot of other stuff, right? Your back testing data, all that stuff. If you can't answer those 5 things for me in a complete sentence that makes a lot of sense, you guys don't have a profitable strategy. You just don't. So the great thing about this Discord and the great thing about communities and the reason that I learned how to trade from somebody else, if you guys don't know, I learned how to trade from my godfather, who was already a very profitable trader. He was working at Goldman Sachs, making a shit ton of money, millions of dollars. And I called him up it was like a few years before he retired, and I was like, dude, I think this trading thing's a scam. He's like, no, it's not a scam, but if you're trying to learn 5 different strategies, you're not gonna make money. So he showed me his strategy, I tweaked it just a little bit, and then, what do you know? I started to make money. That's the same thing that's going on with people in the Discord. They are getting access to all of our trades, right? You can see Kevin just got funded. The reason these people are able to do this he joined April 21st, today's June 3rd. He was able to get funded in about a month. The reason that people are able to make money is because they have access to my strategy. They know the exact trades I'm taking, the exact levels that I consider important. So for them, I'm not going to say it's easy, but it is a lot easier, and they will start making money a lot quicker than if they were to go try to do it all by themselves. Because if they were to try to go do it all by themselves, they would be gambling. They would not be trading in the proper manner. They would just be completely gambling. So that's why so many people join our community and why so many people stay in our community. We have one of the lowest churn rates, meaning when somebody joins, they stay, right? Our data on WAP, on the payment processor, shows that we have one of the lowest churn rates. The only reason that's possible is if we offer a really good product and if we offer simply profitable information. So people join and, Noodles made $928 this morning in, an hour? So for him, he's not thinking like, oh, I spend $99 on premium. Not at all. He's thinking, okay, I joined this community, now I have access to profitable information, and now I can pursue this trading skill full time and I can actually start making money. So that's the value of a community. If you guys do want to join, I'll put a link to join premium in the description of this video. And that's the trade I took today, and just a little bit of game on how to start making money with this trading thing. I'll talk to you all soon. Peace out.